Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads. And as always, welcome back to our Live at 11s, Mondays Live at 11, our house specials type of series that we've got going on. Hopefully, everything's coming through and you can hear me all right. I am, of course, Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and we are here. I've got my cider, and we're going to be talking about today on the house specials and our Live at 11 how I make doodles. And I needed something this time that we could ease into some of the art streamy type of stuff that we were planning to do, so that's what we're doing now. You can let me know if the audio is coming through good, and if the desktop audio, the music I've got playing, is coming through all right, and if it's not too loud. It is by, for those interested, Adrian von Ziegler, if you want to look him up on YouTube. This is his Celtic Forest Harp. Okay, that didn't sound right to me when I said that. I knew I must have messed it up. So it's Celtic Forest Harp, if you want to check it out. Okay. Think we've given people enough time to kind of pop in if they were going to. So let's go ahead and get into this. And hopefully this will help you guys figure out and feel confident enough to decide how you would like to pursue your own art ideas. But for now, I'm going to take a sip and we will start with our doodle here. So you can already see I've started on this one. I figured it was an alright one to start with, since we have gotten quite a bit of practice with, I've gotten quite a bit of examples, I should say, on the YouTube already. So now we need to do something a little different and actually do it in process. So I think I'll do a little explanation. So I do all the black lines mainly as I'm starting up, and you can ask, well, Adam, how'd you get those curves like that? Did you do that freehand? No, you don't have to worry about doing it freehand if you can't, or if you're still worried about getting things done right. Don't worry too much about that, especially with circles and things like that. It's fine to use stencils and the like. I use a ton. Well, I wouldn't say a ton. I use a lot of them. And you can too. And here's like one for the larger circles that is quite useful. So use those, employ those. Tools are useful for getting yourself into and assisting with your art. Now, let's go ahead and see what we want to do with this. I've got these side pieces, black and white. Those circles are not going to be filled in. Those are going to remain black. Simply because I like to have a little extra. I like to have enough white space. I didn't come all the way down right here. I need to do that. So that kind of looks like when I'm doing it. I have these circles that are really nice looking circles. I've done those with these and some of the other stencil ones that I have. But this fill in, I just come right here, make a pretty good circle, and then keep moving it around and fill in. Not too difficult, and all of a sudden it's filled in before you know it. So there you go. That's how I do that. That's how I fill those in. And I've shared before some of my art where I've done that as well, and it always is good to look at it and to be like, oh, okay, this is how to look at it and see this is applied this way, but then that black and white art is applied another way in a different art piece, but it's still, those shapes still remain. And most art is just shapes in general ideas. So my idea for this one right now is inside this white space here, because I've got this little squiggle. When I was doing this French curve, this little squiggle came off, and I'll pull a Bob Ross and say it's just a happy little accident, because you can take it, and it has given me the idea to make branches inside of this, growing inside and off of these, so that anything I put behind it, which I may put some things behind it, but anything I put behind it will be behind those branches, behind this thicket of branches coming off both of these French curves. So we're going to do that, and trees and branches can be pretty easy if you just are patient. So see here, come like this, and what it is, you just want to fork away, and it doesn't have to be perfect. First, we're going to establish just the idea of this. So let's get our main branching bits done. And anybody who has ever looked at branches, you will know they are not perfect at all. They have their own unique twists and turns in them. So you can let your branches also have those unique twists and turns. So there's that. Coming across here, we might put one as well. And we can come back and thicken these up if we want to in a minute, but first, let's just see where we are. It's almost like you're making brown lightning or something like that. That could be a way to help your mind wrap around it. Let me see, I'll come right here. We'll have a nice long one come in right here, because I want to almost fill in all of this. Not fully, of course. We're going to let some of it be open, but a good bit of it we're going to establish has these growths. Tight one here, maybe. Okay. Coming around until we reach the end of our doodle. In here, and see, this one's going to be coming up this way, and this one be swirling around this right here, maybe, and this one, and it'll come, let me see, we will make a tight one right here and right here, and then this in here will almost have its own little spot, as well as this one. Okay, so we've got those established. Now we need to establish these. Oh, can't forget these spots right here. So let's get both of those before we move any further. Okay. Now this one. And move this down here a little bit. I need to leave enough room and space to, I need to hold in my head enough room and space to have something behind all of this, because these are going to have foliage on them and stuff. And maybe these are berry bushes or something, or flower bushes, and they'll have a little bit of color in there too. But we'll see in a minute. So I need to remember these are going to have some foliage on them, and I don't need to have them too terribly close to each other. See, this is kind of close here, so we're going to go this way instead of coming up that way. Around here. And in here. There we are. There's a lot of room up in here, so maybe we'll pull this up bring this down some, and this one over some, and then maybe this one and this comes in like that, and that gives us space in here. Okay. Now, as we come around this way, we will make this have a few more places simply to be solid with our setup. And you can kind of see how I'm pushing a little this way and a little, and I'm trying to keep that motion of the curve without it becoming just an overt wave of branches. Come right from here, bring that up. All right. Okay, so we've got that. Now we need to decide how thick we want these at their base. I mean, I do kind of want a little bit of thickness, but I also want to mix in another color, which I'll come in with in a second. So we're gonna make it almost barky, and then I'll come back in with the other color here in a minute for the lighter wood. And this is not a very noticeable one, this change I'm making, or this addition of bark, but it will later help set it off. So we just make a little bit of bumps here to establish it as like a branch or a set of growing out of this French curve, and right here in this corner will be very much so. All right, now up here on this other one as well, set it like this, keep it going, color in a little bit if needed, and that brown, because it's so close to the black, it will blend in a lot with the black line. So that's why we're going to come back with a lighter brown, a tan kind of color. I've got one of those markers. We'll come back with it, and it'll help us there we go. Okay, I want to add a little bit of a thickness right there. All right, now let me get that other brown, that little tan one, like I said, and we will, oh, gotta remember those little spots there. Okay, now let's do this tan color, and I'm not sure how well it'll come across on the video, but it can make a nice little difference in color there. And for those of you that have looked at my other pieces, you would know that I like to make sure to leave enough white space so that it doesn't distract the eye. And so, with that being the case, I don't want to just always fill it up. Sometimes you want to let it have enough of that white space in there so that the eye can still catch that color difference, even in these tiny places. Okay, there we go. There. All right. And then up in here a little bit. Okay. Now we can start adding in some of the leaves on these branches. And here we have to make a decision. Do we want dark green or light green? If I had some more viewers in at the moment, I would say you can let me know in the comments. So you guys can give input into this in the comments if you want to. I am trying to watch the live chat. But let's see. We've got this dark green right here. So if we put dark green over here just right away, it might distract the eye from this swirl. So let's go with a lighter green. I've got a slightly lighter green here for it. And we'll just make little swirls and let that kind of guide us. And you don't have to fill it up. See, it's looking fine without being filled up. And what we do is we build it out like this. We build these together. And what it does when you don't put that completely full on your, when you don't completely fill up your swirls like that when trying to make your leaves, it simulates the idea of sunlight being in those, of sunlight hitting it and gleaming off of it. And if you notice, I'm keeping a kind of flat plane like this to imply that these are growing up and in curves, but the horizontal is the way the land is going, if there was land. So like right here, it'll all start to move in together. The trees will grow like that. Now we have this. Now, and see, if I see places where I want to add in green that's not there, I can use that to inform where I need to come back and add in maybe a branch or two, because we can do that. And any connections here that aren't full between your squiggles of brown for your branches, you can fill that in with a little bit of green, and it'll just make it seem like that it is so full there that you are having to that the branch is being covered by that green, by that greenery. Okay. This has almost a bonsai type of feel going on, which is nice. Put a little bit more green there. At least I think the bonsai feel is nice. And here we've got a nice little spot to merge all that together. I have to unfocus my eyes kind of funny when I'm going right there, because that's where right there is where it's hard for me to see past the camera. But it's working out, I think. Okay. So this is set. And these type of little doodles and art skill things, you can apply these to all different types of games you might want to play, or different stuff along that line. For those of you who are TTRPGers, you know that art is one of the things that you can't always get just right, but you don't have to necessarily for your players to enjoy it. So, let's see. Now, Now I'm going to come up here and do these. I think I'll still go with this green. Like that. So this upside down forest. It's a really neat idea, I think. It's where these two sets of trees are so close to touching each other, and yet they're separated by the entirety of this, by two different land masses, or two implied land masses on each side, so that you could turn this upside down and still have an idea of a forest existing up there, or at least plants, I should say. Not necessarily a whole forest. Kind of like when you eat, I'm sure you viewers have sometimes watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's that southern, I believe it's the southern, it may be the northern, but the southern air temple. It is upside down, only accessible by flight or the light, or really proficient rappelling. So right in there. All right, particularly connected right there. There. This. And here. And as I've been working on this, I already know what I want to put back behind this now. We'll do, but I won't do it just yet. I won't tell y'all just yet, because I need to have some kind of surprise for y'all, right? This little bit of green here. Now the idea is we got to figure out what type of trees these are, if they're fruit trees or not, or if they're flowering trees or not. And that would also depend. I'm not sure that even if they are, I'm not sure that we would want to put that in there because of what we want to maybe do with the back side of it, or the background of it, instead, while these are in the foreground. So we'll have to think about that, but let's go ahead and see. I need to touch up those branches. So let's come here. Put a branch here maybe, and a branch here, and that will help. I'll put something there, but not to completely connect it, just to imply that branch. Branch here maybe, and here, and here, and then one right here maybe. So we look, and a lot of these are pretty good. This might need a little bit more right there and right there. I really do like these really small ones. I think these are 0.3 or 4. These pins, they make it really easy to do these small details in there, which is nice. I like it. Right there. Inch. There. And we'll put a little bit more up that way. There, there, and there. And then here. This one needs a little bit right here and here. Okay. almost got that, I think. Yeah, so let's go to this one. There. Here. Here. A little bit here. Right here. And this one. There. And see, this one comes down tall, but that's got gravity working with it, so maybe a little bit right there and there. That. And that. And then here. Here. And here. To set these off. There we go. That right there. Okay. Pretty well set. Okay. So those are all set and touched up. And we can always go back and add in some thickness to those if we would want to. You do run a little bit of a risk of making it too thick. But I think these might benefit from just a little more. Right here. Okay, so these seem to be doing better. And if we're worried about making it too dark, we can always come back with our tan and set them in a bit more. Just a little bit on that. This one needs a bit of the thickness. There we go. There. I think right here a little bit. And here. That's pretty good though. Okay, let's come back a little bit and touch up that tan. And we are almost we're at 30 minutes about. So we probably don't need to stay on too much longer. So let's touch this tan up. And then here maybe. Okay, this isn't tan, this is green. This is dark green. I didn't pay enough attention when I grabbed my deal. It doesn't matter. Dark green works fine. Go with the flow. Don't worry too much. Okay. That's good. Alright, so we've gotten... You now see how I kind of make doodles. I use my stencils that I mentioned to do a lot of the straight lines and geometric shapes. My rulers, stencils, etc. And then, that's when you come in and you give it some flair. You give it some breathing. You leave enough breathing room that it's not too tough, and then you come in and do it. See, if you had seen this one before, this side right here, where these rectangles and then these angles are, they were totally blank. It wasn't until after I had got all those shapes established that I then came back and said, okay, this one's going to be rectangles. And then I hadn't decided what this side would be, if it would be rectangles also, if it would be that. But I decided to go with triangles, or angles I should say. And these triangles worked. And this one was done, I was showing some kids how I doodle, and this was what came from that. But anyway, it's a collaborative fun thing, and you can have a lot of fun with it. We'll put something behind that next time if we use this as another example with foreground and stuff like foreground, background type of stuff. But until then, I think we're pretty good. So, yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed how I make doodles, me at least talking about it. And then I hope you want to, if you want to support the Inn of Planar Crossroads, you can go to the iopc.com or innofplanarcrossroads.com, and you can check us out there. It's a landing page, so it will take you to a page that gets the links for you for all of our social medias and all of our support options, except direct contact. You can always just direct contact us to help support the Inn of Planar Crossroads. But all that said, this is what we've got this time. So I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.